On today's Captain's Pick, it's Wildcard time.
Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 12th episode of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. I'm your host, Geoff at Willis, and each week I'll be talking fantasy Premier League football. You can find the show on a whole host of podcast services. Just search Captain's Pick. And we also feature on the YouTube channel FPL Podcasts. So please remember to subscribe, like and share. On today's show, I'll be reviewing my team's Game Week 9 performance, evaluating my wildcard squad so far, looking at captain's picks for this weekend, and previewing Game Week 10 fixtures. So looking back at Game Week 9, in a game week where a lot of FPL managers had very bad weeks, mine was pretty decent, thankfully after Game Week 8's disaster. So I finished the week on 56 points, and I'll go through my team and let you know where I got those points. So I'll do this back to front actually. I'm going to go forwards first. So Kane blanked in that Spurs West Ham 1-0 victory to Spurs. This was his last game week in my team. Summing up his performance over the 9 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. Was hoping for more. Proved just to be too expensive for those returns, and was hoping that he might just grab a brace before he exited my team, but unfortunately not. So we'll just have to keep an eye on Kane and evaluate his performances for the next few game weeks and see if he picks up any form. Had a pretty decent performance in the Champions League midweek, scored a goal. But he's got some tricky fixtures coming up. City at home to begin with. So hopefully he doesn't troll me too bad. He's no doubt going to pick up a few goals in the next few weeks, but hopefully I can cover that by some of the players I'm bringing in. And let's say his points for value is just so low. It's I just can't keep him in the team. So Mitch Fitcher I brought in. Didn't score, but got an assist at least in Fulham's loss to Cardiff. 4-2 loss there. But was good to see him outscore Zaha, who I took out. Obviously Zaha blanked, so good decision there. Brought me in the 5 points, Mitch Fitch, but definitely looking at goals and points in the next few fixtures for him. And I captained Aguero, got his goal in that Burnley 5-0 victory against them. It was close, should have definitely scored a second, might have even got a hat-trick, so definitely the right move to put the captaincy on him. And shame he just didn't quite get a few more goals and points, but happy with his performance. In midfield, Salah did well, got a goal. Could have got a couple extra points if I'd captained him, but it was never really in my thinking, to be honest. So he got 8 points from there. 1-0 away victory at Huddersfield. So happy with him. The rest of my field all blank. So I had Maddison, who definitely should have got an assist from a free kick. Unfortunately, Harry Maguire didn't make the best connection. Good save by the keeper, but he definitely should have got an assist points. Obviously, in that game, Leicester lost 3-1. But at least Chilwell, my defender, got an assist. I was hoping that he would have got the goal points, but they just gave him the assist. So, but I'll take that. Richarlison got the 3 points in the Everton 2-0 home win. Hoping for him to do better, and I think it's looking like it's a toss-up between keeping Maddison and Richarlison, and I think I'm swaying at keeping Maddison because he's on free kicks and set pieces, corners, and Richarlison is just a goal threat, I think, and doesn't have enough other things he can do to get me FPL points. And Lerma came in as my substitution, got 3 points. So that was quite good in a low-scoring game week. So it was good to get him in off the bench. He was off the bench because Alexander-Arnold was rested again, which was unfortunate. So disappointed with him. The other 2 defenders, I had Alonso and Doherty, both blanked. Surprising 2-0 Watford away win at Wolves. I was hoping for more points from Doherty there. He was my other transfer in, but he looks to potentially be a set and forget for the rest of the season. So hoping that he'll repay the faith in the coming weeks. And Chelsea drew 2-2 there with Alonso. Had a great chance to get a goal. But I'll take the point, and the next few game weeks I think he'll definitely return big with clean sheets and attacking points. And then the man, the sort of legend in a way in my team, Jordan Pickford, kept him for the 9 game weeks. Up until this, only had 1 clean sheet. Was a terrible pick. And he managed to save a penalty and get a clean sheet and bonus points. 15 points, saved my game week. So glad to have him repay the faith over those 9 game weeks. And his points absolutely sent me up the rankings. And it was nice I think he did hear me saying that he was going to get the chop from my FPL team, and so I was glad. I think he left the team on some great points, so that was good. So that was my game week 9 points, and I say 56. Average points was 43. Obviously, I took a -4, so you could say 52, but that was still sort of that 9-10 points above the average. Game week rank of 753,000. Which left me on overall points 522, and I rose about 100,000 places, so my overall rank now is 360,271. As I mentioned at the start of the show, I'm now on my Wildcard, so I'll just go through some of the transfers I've already made on my Wildcard. I keep going into my team every day and rejigging it, putting in different options, trying to catch price rises, and I'll be doing that up until the deadline, which fortunately this week is actually Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No early game, so there's potential that there may actually be some team sheets come out a couple of minutes before the deadline. So there's a few picks that I might have that I'll be hovering over the transfer button just to see if I can get any information just before that deadline. So how my wildcard team is shaping up at the moment. So out go Jordan Pickford, and in come Foster, who Watford had a good game week last week, got a clean sheet. But I like his next 3 fixtures. So he got Huddersfield at home, Newcastle away, Southampton away. All 3 of those teams are very low scoring. Got a bit of a goalkeeper rotation policy coming up in the next 5 game weeks. See what you think. Slightly goalkeeper hokey-cokey, chasing clean sheets a little bit, but it's the fun of the game. I do like doing a few of these things. It puts some extra incentive and interest in the game. So he'll be my keeper for the next 3 game weeks. Then I'll be looking at bringing in Patricio for 2 game weeks where he has Huddersfield at home, Cardiff away. Again, great chances of clean sheets in those matches. And then in game week 15, I'll be looking at bringing in Fabianski of West Ham, who then from game week 15 to game week 21, Cardiff at home, Palace at home, Fulham away, Watford at home, Southampton away, Burnley away, Brighton at home. And so that's my kind of thinking when it comes to goalkeepers. I also brought in Button as my reserve goalkeeper at 4 million. He'll be getting some games post-Christmas, as Matt Ryan will be on international leave for, I think, the month of January. So he's a decent backup there. Now, on Saturday, when I hit the wildcard button, there were about 5 players who were likely to go up in price, so I wanted to catch those price rises. And I think certainly 2 or 3 of those are definitely going to stay in the team. So I brought in Robertson before his price rise. And he's definitely, I think, a set and forget for the rest of the season. Brought back in Mendy. Did have him at the start of the season. Again, pre-price rise. Again, I think he'll be set and forget for the rest of the season. I brought in Jimenez, who was about to go for a price rise. Not sure he's going to stay in this wildcard team, but I wanted just to catch that price rise. I don't think he'll go up again. Potential of that, but I don't think I'll make any money on them. But it was worth it. I'm not losing out on anything. And I brought in Brooks, who went up in price, but I don't think he'll go up in price again. So I probably won't make any money on him. But he won't be staying in either. Those are the only changes I've made so far. So how the squad is shaping up is Foster and Button, the 2 goalkeepers. I have Robertson, Mendy, Doherty, Alonso, and Alexander-Arnold. Salah, Maddison, Richarlison. KL was actually the other player I brought in. Wasn't going to get any price rises, I don't think, from him. But he's 4.4. He may go up to 4.5, but he started playing for Brighton. And he's got a goal and assist in the last 2 games. He is just a cheap midfield enabler at 4.4, but happy to have him in the team. Brooks, as I said, the last midfielder, with Jimenez, Mitrovic and Aguero up front as the 3. So that's how the squad is at the moment. My thinking going forward for the rest of this week, that leaves me with 3.5 million after obviously taking out Kane, and I took out Pickford, and those are where the money came from. And also took out Chilwell, which I was happy he got his assist against Arsenal. Just doesn't think they'll get the kind of points I was hoping. Still got a great fixture set, Leicester, but not sure how many clean sheets they'll get a couple, and he may get another attacking return, but I don't mind missing out on them, especially when I now have Mendy and Robertson and Alonso and Doherty. So at the moment, I'm currently keeping Alexander-Arnold in. I know he's been rested for the last 2 games. Played the Champions League midweek. I think he'll start, but I have got Robertson as cover. They're obviously at home to Cardiff, hoping for big points, attacking points and clean sheets. Lovren was rested during Champions League. He played last weekend. I think he'll play again. Gomez played in the Premiership game and the Champions League game. So I think Gomez will be rested and Alexander-Arnold will start. They've got no Carabao Cup next week. And I think that Gomez and Lovren will start against Arsenal away next weekend. So if Alexander doesn't play, that would be 3 Premier League games in a row that he hasn't started. I just can't see that. But I have got the Robertson coverage just in case. Robertson looks great. I definitely think he'll play. He was subbed with 10 minutes to go during Champions League, so I think he'll start. Alexander-Arnold, my plan with him is to keep him in this game week because I've got the luxury being on this wildcard that I can keep him in. Many obviously can't do that, and I've obviously got Robertson anyways. But I just think that so many people are going to get rid of him. So many people have already, and he'll pop up. He'll start, and he'll get a goal, free kick, or an assist, clean sheet points. I'm happy to take that risk, knowing that it's something that would probably backfire on me. But he will only be in for this game week, and then I'll transfer him out next week as my one free transfer. And I'll be looking at bringing in potentially Lascelles of Newcastle for their good run of fixtures. That will also free up a bit of cash as well. So that's my plan for him. Newcastle's fixtures, when I bring him in, will be Newcastle at home to Watford, then they're at home to Bournemouth, away to Burnley, home to West Ham, and then away to Everton. And that's maybe the game week that I'll potentially downgrade him further for another defender, or upgrade him potentially to an Arsenal player who after that have quite good fixtures. So maybe thinking about Bellerin then. So that's my potential thinking on that fifth defender spot. Salah staying in the team, did well during the Champions League. Looks to be getting some form back and bringing the points in, goals as well. Currently, I'm keeping Maddison for the good run of Leicester fixtures because I still do want an asset from them in the next 5 game weeks. Thinking they're going to be better from an attacking point of view than defensive. Richarlison, I'm looking at taking out of my team. 1 attacking return in the last 4 games. Not entirely sure he just brings enough. I've had him twice this season. I probably would have kept him if he hadn't just kept his head, no pun intended, and didn't headbutt that other guy and got that suspension. So I need to get Hazard in. Richarlison will be the one coming out. I would have made a bit of cash on him as well, so that's quite nice. So there is a slight doubt with Hazard at the moment. He's got Burnley away. He's going to miss the Europa League game. I think he'll start against Burnley. But again, I can look at press conferences and potential team sheets and things. And though they are playing on Sunday, so I won't be able to see the team sheet there, but I'll be able to judge it, I think, whether he'll play or not. I think he will. So more likely he'll come in. If he doesn't, I could plump in for someone else and then get rid of him the next game week. But I think 95% sure that he's just going to come in, and he's got a great set of fixtures coming up. So I think he'll be the one for me. KL, again, cheap midfielder enabler, it's fine. My initial thoughts will be taking out Brooks and bringing in Murphy of Cardiff. Seems to have an attacking threat. Cardiff have some decent fixtures, and I'll be looking at potentially just playing him in home games, away games. He'll be bench fodder. And then my option for Jimenez up front, taking him out, I just don't think he's going to get the attacking returns I want. So I'll just be bringing in Success from Watford. Again, cheap striker, 4.5 million, sort of enabler. And so I'll have my 2 up front. Mitrovic, again, good few games coming up. He's got Bournemouth home, Huddersfield away, then, Liverpool away, but then he's got Southampton at home. So looking at keeping him in for those 4 games and then bringing in Arnautovic, which I think when I look to do that transfer, he'll be playing Newcastle away. So that's my plan for that second striker spot, and then keeping Aguero. He just seems totally essential at the moment. So over the coming weeks, I'll be looking at playing a 4-4-2 or a 5-3-2. So 5 at the back. It's amazing defensive line there. All can attack. Definitely see some points coming from Alonso. And so that's sort of how my wildcard team's shaping up. Hopefully make some money on a couple of players I brought in, Robertson and Mendy. I think probably make some money there. And boost up that team value. And so that's really how the wildcard's shaping up. Haven't really got too many other players in my thoughts at the moment. Obviously, there might be a few injuries. Europa League tonight. Chelsea, as recalling this, Chelsea and Arsenal play. But pretty happy with how that squad's shaping up. And it's a squad to last me pretty much till Christmas. Wouldn't mind some Tottenham coverage in there from about game weeks 15, 17. Not sure the way I'll have the team set up that'll be possible, but we'll see how things go. Obviously, I'll still have some expensive players in there. Salah, Hazard and Aguero. So they can be downgraded if injuries happen or form goes out the window. And obviously I've got expensive defenders there that, again, injuries and loss of form, I can downgrade quite easily. So pretty happy with how that wildcard is shaping up at the moment. And look out for me on Twitter for any last minute changes or anything like that. But I think that's how my squad will look like going forward, certainly to the next sort of 5 to 8 game weeks. So looking ahead at game week 10's fixtures, Wolves away to Brighton. I'll have Doherty. Hopefully Wolves will do a little bit better in this game. Looking for clean sheet and attacking points from him. Not sure Glenn Murray will play for Brighton, so fingers crossed there's a clean sheet there. Fulham at home to Bournemouth. Looking at Mitrovic getting goals here. Needs to get on that score sheet. Bournemouth haven't been particularly great defensively, and I think he could definitely get some points in that game. Liverpool at home to Cardiff, sort of the prize fixture for my squad, certainly. I'll have Robertson, Salah and probably Alexander-Arnold in that game, so definitely look at clean sheets, attacking points, and definitely looking at captaining Salah in that match. He's looked good, and it'd be nice to get a captain's pick where a hat-trick comes out of it. It'd be nice. I did catch the Aguero one in game week 2, which was nice, but it'd be nice to get a hat-trick from Salah. 30% owned, so a lot of people going without him. Could definitely see me rising up the ranks if he goes big. Southampton home to Newcastle. Newcastle definitely need to be getting some points in that game. Two teams not too much of attacking threat. Could potentially see this a 0-0, 1-1 draw. I won't have any players in it. Moving on to Watford at home to Huddersfield. This is where I'll be hoping for clean sheet points from my goalkeeper Foster. Watford looked good last weekend. Huddersfield, not much attacking threat. Haven't really scored many goals so far this season, so looking for a clean sheet points there. Then the late game Saturday evening, Leicester, West Ham. West Ham looked a little bit better defensively, but I think Leicester have looked good attacking point of view. Could be a few goals in here. Arnautovic looked good last weekend as well, so I think that could be a 2-2, maybe even a 3-2 Leicester in that game. Then Sunday, Chelsea away to Burnley. Has been a hard game previous seasons, but Burnley haven't looked that great, certainly defensively haven't. Chelsea look great going forward. Not sure it'll be a massive win for Chelsea, but potentially 2-0 Chelsea in that game, depending on whether Hazard plays. Fingers crossed he does. Then Palace at home to Arsenal. Palace have been awful. Have no Palace players now. Arsenal look great attacking. Still fragile at the back, but could see this being 2-1, 3-1 Arsenal there. Then the later game on Sunday, Man United at home to Everton. I'll have no players in this game because I don't think I'll have Richarlison. Anyone could score against Man United currently, but I think United will probably nick that 1-0. I can see Richarlison blanking. But if I do have Hazard and he does play, I think he'll outscore Richarlison. And then the Monday night game, Spurs at home to City. Obviously, gotten rid of Harry Kane, he could potentially score there. I mean, Kane can score against anyone, but just don't think he's worth it for the money currently. And I'll have two City players, Mendy and Aguero. Could see both them scoring attacking points. Could be a clean sheet for Mendy. Potentially maybe a 1-0 there. 1-0 to City, away win. City look great so far. And Aguero was rested during the Champions League. So, yeah, I think City could win that one. Okay, so that's where I'm going to wrap up the show. A reminder again that the Game Week 10 deadline is Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. You can find me tweeting FPL Gold on the podcast Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the show. And so from me, good luck with Game Week 10. And until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you.
Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.